everybody, GlowStone here, and welcome to a Marvel movies tier list. I have all of the Marvel movies right here, every single one, and I'm going to be ranking them based from best to worst, or on a tier list. So, I'm going to be typing in this. As you see in the top tier, we have oh yeah, that means it's literally the best of the best. Right below that, we have great, which means it's a great movie. Everything about this movie is great. And then under that, we have good, which means the movie was really good. And under that, it means it's okay, standard movie, standard stuff in the movie. Under that is boring, which means I found the movies incredibly boring. And then under that is poop, and I think those are the worst movies ever created. Just horrible. First off, these are in order of when they came out, so we start with Iron Man and with Spider-Man Far From Home. So first off, the original Iron Man. Now, I don't know what to think of this really, because I do like the original Iron Man. I think it's great. I think the characters in this game are great. Although the plot is a little messy. I'm not going to say it's great or oh yeah. I think I'm just going to put it in a good. I think that's where Iron Man stays. And next we got the Incredible Hulk. I'm just going to say it's poop. The Incredible Hulk is... Oh, this movie was so boring. The plot, the CGI just looked very weird. It was 2008, but the CGI just looked so weird. I don't know. Didn't think it was that great. Next, we have Iron Man 2, which I thought this one was boring. Honestly, boring. It's really boring. I think it's, there's a lot of stuff in Iron Man 2. There's a lot of plot points. There's a lot of, it's overstuffed. The villain was honestly not that interesting. They didn't really do anything with the characters and the emotion. It just kind of fell flat, boring. Next we have Thor, and Thor, it's a pretty standard movie. I'm not gonna say it's a good, great movie or anything, but it's a standard. It shows you what Thor is and why he's important to the story, which I think is good. I do think the final boss was really boring and kind of bland, and yeah, I just think, yeah, okay. Next is Captain America: The First Avenger. Now, I really like Captain America's... I really like his story, his backstory, why he's a hero, and I like this movie because it's like the original, what it shows you, like a superhero movie, but a much more average kind of one, and it shows from the 1940s, whenever this took place, and I'd say it's pretty good. I think I'm just gonna put it in good, and at the end, I think, it's not as good as the original Iron Man, but yeah, it's good. Next we have Doctor Strange. What? No, next we have the original... Why would I think Doctor Strange? Next we have the original Avengers, and this is a great movie. I'm putting it in great. I think this movie, at the time, and even now, it does show a lot. I feel like the pacing is a little slow near the middle section, but the final boss, or the final third act, the first act, it really is really good. There's a lot of action. The story is great. Loki as a villain, I don't really see Loki as a villain. I see more Loki as a hero, so it probably puts me down for that. But, yeah, next is Iron Man 3. This one's a hard one. Because I do like Iron Man 3. I know a lot of people don't like Iron Man 3, but I actually got some enjoyment out of this compared to Iron Man 2. Iron Man 3 is going to be in the okay section, but better than Thor. I think Iron Man 3 is better than Thor. Mainly because I think Iron Man 3 does a little... it's more emotional. We have Pepper Potts in on some of the action. I like how Tony Stark doesn't have a suit for some of it, so it actually is kind of interesting. and then we have all the suits at the end, and it just pays off. Next is Thor: The Dark World, which is also in the poop section. It's worse than The Incredible Hulk. This is probably like the worst Marvel movie that they have. It's so weak. The plot points are so not interesting. I do think it could work. Like, it could work. It just needs more interesting characters. It needs more interesting, the villains. It needs to be way more interesting. It needs to just have a little faster pace. And, this kind of like took the thing where Loki dying is an everyday occurrence now. Because he's died twice. I think it doesn't really happen. Loki just, if Loki dies, he comes back until Thor Ragnarok. But yeah, I think this is an okay thing. Also, I forgot to mention this at the beginning of the video. There will be spoilers. I totally forgot. There will be spoilers to all of these movies. Maybe not all of them, but most of them, especially Endgame and stuff. That is just warning you. Next, we have Captain America: The Winter Soldier. This movie is great. I love this movie. Not as good as the original Avengers, but still fantastic. I love Captain America in this movie. I think his character just went so... It's changed so much. Like, in the first Avengers, he's just seen as this, like, oh, goody two-shoes, kind of like, he's not really that interesting. But the Winter Soldier makes him more interesting. He has cool action scenes. His relationship with the Winter Soldier is really nice, and I think that it's really fun. This movie's really fun, and it's just so great. Next is Guardians of the Galaxy. This is going to be our first... Oh, yeah. I love this movie. This movie is probably, like, one of my favorite movies in the MCU. That's why I put it in... Oh, yeah. The characters, the plot. It's... The comedy. It's, like... It's a funny movie, but it doesn't overdo it. As some other... Later in this tier list, there will be movies that overdo the comedy a little bit, and it makes for the movie to not be as good it should be. But this has perfect comedy at the end with Groot saying, "We are Groot." It makes you emotional. It's just very well done, and it's probably one of my favorites. Next is Age of Ultron. I like Age of Ultron a lot. Is it better than the original Avengers? I don't think so. I think Age of Ultron is almost right with the original Avengers. Just the lows are a little lower, than the original Avengers. But I think it does. It's really good. I really like the villain in this. I think he shouldn't be like the villain in this movie where all the Avengers are coming together. And I feel like as a sequel to the original Avengers, it doesn't do a good job as a sequel like people are expecting. But other than that, I love the story. I love the little character moments. It's just really good. Next is Ant-Man, and I saw this in the theaters at, like, what, 2015? I mean, I was, like, 7, but I fell asleep in the theaters. I watched it since, and I don't know why. It's just, like, not that interesting. I'd say it's probably the worst okay. It's not as good as Thor: Iron Man 3. Even though it's supposed to be, like, funny and stuff, I don't really see it. I mostly just see it as this, it's just a random superhero thing. Not very interesting. The character is good, though. Scott Lang, I feel like he's much more, like, menacing in this. I don't know why. But, like, in Ant-Man's sequel, he's a lot more funny and stuff. In this, he's a burglar, of course, and he just feels a lot more evil. Next is Captain America: Civil War, and this... Oh my gosh, this movie's great. This is I think it's in the middle of Age of Ultron and the original Avengers. Yeah, okay. This movie is so good. I love this movie. Everything about it. Even though the cast is huge, it does a good job giving everyone their own thing and keeping it more focused to Captain America instead of just having it like, oh, Captain America versus Iron Man or Avengers 3, Civil War. It's still Captain America's story, which I like. It's really good. and it just does such a good job with everything. That action is really amazing, especially that final scene with Iron Man versus Captain America. That part, it's so good. Next we have Doctor Strange. He wasn't like the third one, he's now. I don't know why I said him. But Doctor Strange, he's going in good. I do think the action sequence, it's not going to be as good as the other two, but I still think it's really good. I think the action sequences, the third act especially, is amazing, and it does set like a tone for all of these movies. Like, it just starts doing more space stuff. Like Guardians of the Galaxy original already like focused on more space things, but this just embraced the weirdness of the space things that happen in the late MCU. I think it's just it's so good with like the little visuals and stuff. Although I think the first third of the movie is kind of boring, honestly. I think it's like, yeah, he gets in a car accident, but it's overly long and stretched out. Next is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and this, oh boy, oh yeah, it's better than the first one by a little bit. Okay, by a little bit. Just a little bit. I know a lot of people do not like this one. A lot of people dislike this film, but I think it's really good. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 may be more well-made, but this one's more vibrant. The characters have way better moments, especially Groot and Drax and Star-Lord and Gamora don't really have that good moments in this one compared to the first one, but I still feel like it's great. The jokes are very there, and I do feel like there is some emotion to it, but I feel like a lot of it is jokes. And I don't know, I really like that the jokes do work for me. And it's so funny. The villain, for me at least, I really like the villain. I think the villain is really clever. I do feel like the Ego takes a little more, like, he talks way too much about what he is. Like, he talks like for 80% of his dialogue is literally just explaining what it is, and I feel like it could get kind of boring after a while, but it's just so good. Especially that opening scene with them fighting the monster and Groot dancing. Baby Groot's probably one of my, like, not my favorite character, but one of the cutest characters. Because honestly, my favorite character in the MCU is probably like Thor, even though it's both of his films that he's in are in the okay and poop section. Next is Spider-Man Homecoming. This movie was great. Probably the weakest great film, but still, it was very great. There was so many, all these other they're adults, but Spider-Man is a child, and who's in high school, and there's a lot of Tony Stark in it. He wants to be an Avenger. I feel like it's a good plot. I do like the villain. I do feel like the final boss with the villain is kind of weak, but I do like the villain. I do like the idea of the villain. But I don't know why. It's just like every time I rewatch this film, I just think of it as like some parts don't really like work for me. I don't know why. Especially when Tony gives Spider-Man the suit, I just feel like it gets a massive boringness. The second act is just not that good in my opinion. I feel like the first act and the third act, the third act being okay, the second act being a little boring, and the first act being really good. But yeah, that's it. Next is Thor Ragnarok. Now, a lot of people love this movie, and I don't hate it. I still think it's a great movie. I think I'm putting it in great. But it's just so many jokes, and I feel like that kind of ruins the movie for me a bit. I'm gonna put it right there. Just so much in this movie is jokes. There's billions of, probably one of the funniest movies in the MCU, if you're not counting the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. And I don't know, sometimes the jokes work. Sometimes they're like, oh, you throw a ball and hits him in the face, or, yes, I know that guy. But sometimes it just, like, you have dramatic scenes that are interrupted by a joke. I do like, some of the jokes feel good. Like, I like the, what are you, the God of Hammers from Odin at the final battle. That works, because I feel like it doesn't really, like, destroy a moment. And after that, you get the scene with Thor all lightened up. It's really not a good movie. I just feel like the jokes. Otherwise, it would be an oh yeah. Honestly, if there was just toned down a bit on the jokes, it would be an oh yeah. My brother actually put this one in oh yeah. I could show you his tier list after this, maybe not. I'll put it in the description if you want to see it. But yeah. Next is Black Panther. Honestly, this movie was kind of boring to me. I'm not gonna put it in boring. I'm gonna put it in okay. Probably the weakest okay. A lot of people love this movie. Got a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. But to me, I just like watching this movie. I'm sitting through it. I feel like this movie's long. Like whenever I watch it, I just think, wow, this is a long movie. And like I'm watching it, and there's so many plot. Like the plot is huge in this movie. There's so much stuff going on. I do think the CGI is absolutely horrible in this, especially during the third act where they're like falling into portals and stuff. Killmonger and T'Challa, they're just like, ugh. And I feel like it just doesn't really work for me. I don't know why. The characters, every character besides T'Challa is really bland and boring. So, yeah, it's okay. Next is Avengers Infinity War, and this is going in, oh yeah, probably right there. I don't think it's as good as Guardians Volume 2, but it's definitely better than the first Guardians. This movie is great. Oh my gosh, this movie was so awesome. This was probably, I've seen other MCU films, but this is probably the first movie that totally just made me fall in love with the entire series. Before that, I would watch them every now and then, but I wasn't really into it. Now, oh my god, it's so good. Everything about this movie, it might be just 2 hours of action for some of you, but the action does have some of the moments where they're just talking and planning. I do feel like it progresses slowly. And okay, one thing I'll talk more about that when I get to Endgame. But yeah, it's just a really good movie. A satisfying ending. The ending is awesome. And first, when I saw it in theaters, I think I was in Legoland for my brother's birthday. That happened in, yeah, because it was for both of our birthdays. We saw it at the theater, and I was just like, the ending was like, wow, Thanos actually snapped. But then I saw Thor and I was like, okay, they work. But then everyone started disappearing and everything, and then I was like, what? And then the credits just started, and I was like, what the heck? That's the end of the movie? The 2 hours went by so fast, honestly. The 2 hours goes by so fast whenever I'm watching this. A great movie. Absolutely 10 out of 10. Next is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Honestly, this is probably going right there in terms of good. It's a good movie. I do think that jokes work way better than the first Ant-Man. I feel like the plot is a little more clean than Ant-Man. And it's more fun, more rewatchable. It's just a little more great movie. I do like it quite a bit. But yeah. It just some of the plot just doesn't really work right. But I think it's still a good movie. Definitely better than Iron Man 3, Thor, Ant-Man, and the first Avenger, Doctor Strange. Definitely, I'd rather rewatch this one than all the ones before it. So definitely, it's going in good. Next, we have Captain Marvel, and honestly, I didn't like Captain Marvel too much. I was excited for this movie a lot. Really excited. I was absolutely dying to see this movie because I wanted to see this because at the post-credits scene of Avengers Infinity War, it showed the Captain Marvel symbol, and I was excited to watch this movie. But I don't know, it just something it just didn't work. Like, it was so weird. Like, I don't think Captain Marvel is very likable, especially in Endgame. Endgame kind of destroyed Captain Marvel. Oh yeah, and then so I'd probably say it's an okay. I definitely put it's better than Black Panther, a little more engaging, but also the scale of her power is so weird. Like, all of a sudden, like, she's just beating up a bunch of enemies, just casually, like any other Avenger could do. But then the next minute, she's destroying spaceships in outer space, and I feel like her powers are very inconsistent. And she's like, she doesn't, she's not very nice. But I do like the old people, like the little thing not old people, but like from 1960s or 30s, or I think it was the 70s actually, or 80s, whenever this movie took place. And I thought it was the time period with Nick Fury. That was all good, but it's okay. I'm gonna actually go back to Thor Ragnarok real quick. I forgot to mention this part of it, but the ending, I did not like the ending at all. Where Asgard is destroyed, and it's not Asgard, it's the people of Asgard that makes Asgard. And they all go on a spaceship and fly off to safety. Until 2 minutes later, Thanos murders all of them. Okay, sure, it was like a year gap, but still. That kind of ruined the end of Thor Ragnarok, because whenever I see Thor Ragnarok again, I just think, or the ending, I just think, oh, they're all dead. What was the point of this? There was literally no point. Everyone's dead now. Heimdall, whoever Asgardians were there, they're all dead. So, like, it kind of makes the ending meaningless, and it's very hard to watch this. Infinity War just kind of ruined the ending of Thor Ragnarok a little. Next, we have the two final movies of the MCU. The finale and the epilogue. So first is the finale, Avengers Endgame. This movie, oh my god, I saw this in theater probably about a week or 2 weeks after it came out, and this movie was so amazing. I got spoiled on it. I got spoiled that Black Widow was gonna die, and I got a spoiler that Captain America picks up Thor's hammer. I got so spoiled from that, and I was really upset. But I didn't get spoiled that Iron Man was going to die. I did not get spoiled on most of it, but I just got spoiled on those two little things. So it was still like a surprise watching it. And this movie just so much right. It's definitely better than Infinity War. I'm probably going to rank it there. Although I do not like how people say that Avengers Endgame is the part 2 to Infinity War. I don't see it as a part 2. I see it as a sequel. Avengers Infinity War had a beginning, middle, and an ending. Avengers Endgame had a beginning, middle, and ending. It didn't start with, oh, Avengers Infinity War was a beginning and half of a middle, and then half of a middle, and the ending was Endgame. No. They're completely different stories. So I do think that, although I wasn't a big fan of some things that Endgame did, I feel like Infinity War is much more rewatchable than Endgame. Also, and I didn't know like what Endgame did with some of the characters. I did not like that Bruce Banner integrated himself with the Hulk. I thought that was really not good. I did not like Captain Marvel's attitude. Captain Marvel that made her character very unlikable, and I don't like her character that much anymore because of that. Also, Thor. I really don't like Thor Lebowski. He's not. It was a fun thing at first, but they went way too far. I like some of the jokes. I like the. Is he asleep? No, I'm pretty sure he's dead. I love that joke, but they went a little too far. I do not like him at the end. Now, I liked Infinity War Thanos, where he and Groot and Rocket slammed down in the Battle of Wakanda, and this just made Thor very less scary, not scary, but very less cool. But the ending, nothing will ever top that portal scene where they all come back. It's just so amazing. Next, we're on the epilogue, Spider-Man Far From Home, which will probably be the ending of good. It was an okay movie, although I do think that there should be some change. I do like the villain. The villain's pretty cool. But some things about this movie just didn't, I feel like it was pretty boring throughout. They don't know who some of the characters were like, oh, who's that? I didn't really buy it that they would just, oh, half the universe just came back to life one day. They are unaged. But then, all of a sudden, oh, we're going on another trip to, Italy, is it? Or something. Oh, I don't really see that. I don't really understand why that would happen. I just think it's definitely not as good as Homecoming, especially since Tony Stark isn't in it. I think it's just going good. Now, so this is my completed list from worst to best. The worst Marvel movie is Thor: The Dark World. Then how many movies are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh yeah, 23 movies, duh. Duh. So in 23rd place is Thor: The Dark World. 22 is The Incredible Hulk. 21 is Iron Man 2. 20 is Black Panther. 19, Captain Marvel. 18, Ant-Man. 17, Thor. 16, Iron Man 3. 15, Spider-Man Far From Home. 14, Doctor Strange. 13, Captain America: The First Avenger. 12, Ant-Man and the Wasp. 11, Iron Man. 10, Spider-Man Homecoming. 9, Thor Ragnarok. 8, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. 7, Avengers: Age of Ultron. 6, Captain America: Civil War. 5, The Avengers. 4, Guardians of the Galaxy. 3, Avengers: Infinity War. 2, Avengers: Endgame. And 1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And I do agree on this. I do think I placed everything good. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. This has been a 30-minute video. Wow. If you like the video, do not forget to leave a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an upload. I'll see you in future videos. Bye. Also, in the comment section, is there any other tier list you would like to see? Ooh.